Let's now speak to James Dorsey. He's a senior fellow at Singapore's S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Let's kind of pick up where I left off with my last guest in terms of the negotiations. He's saying this is all being conducted by Israel to divert attention away from those ceasefire negotiations. Would you agree?
Well, what I think is clear is that Israel has not achieved its objectives in the Gaza war. It's under increasing pressure to end the war and to agree to a ceasefire on terms that are also agreeable to Hamas. And at the same time, Israel's under a lot of domestic pressure. Israel had basically wanted the almost 100,000 Israelis who've been evacuated from northern Israel, from the border area, to return to the region before the 1st of September when the school year starts. That's clearly not happening. And in that sense, I think that Netanyahu wants an escape from the ceasefire, but he also wants a way of increasing the pressure.
In reality, how can or is he able to escape from those ceasefire negotiations? I mean, a lot of experts are saying that he doesn't want to reach a ceasefire because that would be the end of his political career. What's your analysis on the whole process of those negotiations unfolding? And we do know that they are already very fragile. What do these attacks mean for the continuation of those negotiations?
Well, first of all, it is common wisdom, if you wish, that Netanyahu wants to stay in power and wants to extend hostilities because that is going to keep him in office. And once hostilities end, he would be voted out of office. That's not necessarily true. We don't know that for a fact. If anything, the fact that Hezbollah and Iran have been held in bay their retaliation for the killings of Fuad Shukr in Beirut and the Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran has significantly increased Netanyahu's popularity at home. In fact, the latest polls show that Netanyahu would win an election ahead of Benny Gantz, his main opponent, the former defense minister who resigned from the war cabinet. So, in a sense, the game that Hezbollah and Iran are playing, which is to calibrate their response and try and allow the ceasefire negotiations to succeed, is what works in Netanyahu's favor.
Right. And just looking at the U.S.'s perspective, we did hear from the defense secretary reaffirming that the United States is committed to Israel's defense against any attacks by Iran and its regional partners and proxies. A very expected statement from the United States. And given that they've already sent so much weaponry to the region in support of Israel, how do you see this unfolding in terms of if Hezbollah does launch a wide-scale attack on Israel, would the U.S. step in at that point?
Well, I think one also has to define what does it mean to step in. It's clear that the Americans essentially differentiate between the defense of Israel against Iran and its non-state allies, first and foremost Hezbollah, and Gaza. And when the Americans say the defense of Israel, what they're right now referring to is Israel and Hezbollah, even though they also defend Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas. I think what you're going to see is every American effort to be drawn into an all-out Middle East conflagration. But you will also see that if this turns out into a full-fledged Middle East war, particularly one between Israel and Iran, the United States may not have a lot of choices.